Oh no! I have a confession to make. I've been playing Devil May Cry for most of my life, but I've never collected all of the Blue Orb Fragments. Today, that ends. One playthrough, no misses. Here's the catch. I haven't seriously played this game in over 20 years. Devil May Cry is ruthless with its secrets. Some fragments are hidden in ridiculous places. Some only appear if you trigger them in very specific ways. And if you miss just one, the game doesn't tell you. You fail, and you might not even realize it until the very end. Before the game even properly starts, it already tries to ruin the run. There's a hidden Blue Orb Fragment almost immediately. Miss it, and you can never come back for it later. Never. You'd have to restart the entire playthrough from scratch. Thankfully, muscle memory kicked in. Somehow, after 20 years, I still remembered where it was. The next few fragments were pretty straightforward. And honestly, at this point, I was feeling good. Maybe too good. Mission 2 only had one orb fragment, hidden inside breakable environment pieces. Simple enough, and with 6 fragments already collected, I started getting confident. Maybe this wouldn't be that bad after all. Mission 3 is where the challenge stopped feeling nostalgic and started feeling dangerous. The orb locations themselves weren't too bad. One hidden on the broken bridge, another absurdly high above the cathedral entrance. Without old muscle memory, I absolutely would have missed that one. But the real problem wasn't the orb fragments. It was the game's first secret mission. After beating the first boss, I still remembered some old strategies. Everything was going smoothly. And then I walked through the wrong door. And without realizing it, I permanently locked myself out of Secret Mission 1, which also meant I locked myself out of one of the Blue Orb Fragments I needed for the challenge. The game never warned me. No pop-up, no message, nothing. The run was basically dead, and I didn't even know it yet. The worst part? I didn't realize this until much later. By then, I'd already cleared multiple secret missions, fought a boss, and nearly finished Chapter 4. But something felt wrong, so I checked the wiki, and that's when I realized I'd already failed the challenge. Once you leave through the wrong door after the spider boss, Secret Mission 1 becomes inaccessible. Forever. Luckily, I had multiple saves. And for the first time during this run, they saved me from restarting the entire game. I reloaded Mission 3, and this time I entered the correct door. It still took me a few tries to beat the mission, but I eventually got it. My first secret mission complete, and another Blue Orb Fragment secured. At this point, I realized something important. This wasn't a collectible hunt anymore. I was constantly one mistake away from losing the entire run. Then I returned to the Chapter 4 secret missions. The spider missions were straightforward enough, although weirdly, I played worse this time around. Probably because now I was a bit paranoid. Every room suddenly felt dangerous. Every decision felt permanent. And then I got to Secret Mission 4. 3 shadow dogs, 1 attempt, and if you fail, the mission disappears. Forever. I only learned that after getting completely destroyed. Luckily, I prepared for this. I made a save beforehand, so I reloaded. and the mission was gone. At this point, I genuinely thought the run was over. Again. I started reloading older saves. Nothing. Still gone. And this is where Devil May Cry fully transformed into psychological warfare. Because somehow, the game remembers things you would never expect it to remember. Then suddenly I remembered, in my previous playthrough, I fought the lion encounter. What if that encounter spawns the Shadow Dogs in the first place? So I tested my theory. And somehow, that reactivated the mission. That is insane. This game was designed by actual lunatics. At least, this was my thought at that time. After several more attempts and several more reloads, I finally beat it. Another orb fragment secured. But by now, I no longer trusted the game at all. Mission 5 is where the game introduced another problem I never expected. Movement requirements. To get one of the orb fragments, you either needed specific abilities already purchased, or you needed to know a ridiculously precise jump technique. A normal double jump doesn't even work. Thankfully, I already had the ability unlocked, because otherwise, that would have been another disaster. Mission 6 introduced invisible orb fragments, which is exactly as annoying as it sounds. The fragment only appears once you move close enough to trigger it, so without exploration or a guide, it's incredibly easy to walk right past it. Thankfully, this one can be collected later, which by this point honestly felt generous. Mission 7 forced me into one of the weirdest secret missions so far. The objective? Get the spiders to kill each other without my help. Which sounds easy until you actually try doing it. After several attempts, another fragment joined the collection. By this point, the game had trained me to inspect every room like a crime scene. Some orb fragments were obvious, others required speed, some were hidden under graves. Some required weird mechanics too. One secret mission forced me to bounce off of death scissors just to reach the fragment. Some were found on accident while fighting, and others only appeared after killing every enemy in a room. And Mission 12 introduced another classic Devil May Cry mechanic, completely unexplained triggers. The guide barely explained how to make the orb appear, so I spent ages experimenting with random actions. Until eventually the fragment finally spawned. At this point, I wasn't playing Devil May Cry anymore. I was interrogating it. Mission 13 was surprisingly painless, which honestly made me suspicious, because every time the game gave me a break, it immediately punished me afterwards. And Mission 15 absolutely delivered on that punishment. But before I got there, I still had to collect the rest of the orb fragments. One of the most obscure Blue Orb fragments in the entire game is hidden here, and I genuinely cannot imagine finding this without a guide. I explored the level normally, opened the shield doors, grabbed the items, and the fragment never appeared. At first I thought I missed a trigger. Then I tried reloading. Still nothing. And suddenly I felt that feeling again. The feeling that maybe, just maybe, the run was already dead. Thankfully, I'd learned my lesson after almost losing the run earlier. So I had backup saves ready. I restarted the mission from the beginning. Followed the ridiculous trigger conditions, including jumping against a very specific wall, and finally the fragment appeared. This was becoming absurd. I then proceeded with collecting the rest of the Blue Orb fragments again. PS, and yes, I had to redo the annoying Secret Mission 8. PPS, fighting shadows in cramped environments is always a lot of fun. Mission 16 contains the most frustrating secret mission in the entire game. Precise jumps, tight platforming, and the constant threat of replaying everything if I failed. I genuinely thought I was going to spend the entire day here. Yes! Oh my god, finally! Finally! Then came Secret Mission 10. A bizarre Shadow Dog scavenger hunt that was confusing even with a guide. Eventually, I found them all. But by now, the challenge had completely changed me. I trusted nothing. Every hallway looked suspicious. Every wall felt fake. Every object looked like it might secretly contain another orb trigger. And then came Mission 17. The absolute peak of this challenge's suffering. Just activating the secret mission required frustrating platforming. And if you know anything about old school action games, you already know the platforming is terrible. But the game wasn't done yet. Because after the secret mission activation, you then had to do another difficult platforming section inside the mission itself just to reach the orb fragment, while fighting the enemy. And yes, you can permanently fail this one too. So every attempt meant reloading a save, redoing the setup, redoing the jumps, and praying I didn't mess up again. I was losing my mind. Oh, nice. That's a good one. Gimme! No! Oh, thank God. Oh, I don't know how I did it. Don't ask me how I did it. I jumped off of the death, and then somehow double jumped, and then jumped off of the death again. I'm not doing it a second time. Fuck this orb. Honestly, holy crap. I think it was luck. Oh my. And somehow that still wasn't the worst fragment in the mission. Another orb was hidden on an absurd balcony location that I never would have found naturally. Thanks again, Wiki. By the final missions, the game finally eased up a little. Most of the remaining fragments were manageable. A few tricky triggers here and there, some annoying timing sections, but nothing compared to what came before. And honestly, that made me nervous. Because this game had conditioned me to expect disaster at all times. And sure enough, the final secret mission almost ruined everything one last time. The last orb fragment is tied to one of the most missable secret missions in the entire game. You need to interact with a very specific wall in a very specific place with absolutely no indication that anything is there. The mission itself wasn't even that difficult. Finding it was the real challenge. And after everything this game had already put me through, I genuinely thought I missed it. But finally, after 20 years, I collected the last Blue Orb Fragment. And honestly, This challenge completely changed the way I see Devil May Cry. I remembered the combat, I remembered the bosses, I remembered how stylish the game felt. What I didn't remember was how absolutely ruthless it is with secrets. This game does not care if you fail. It won't warn you, it won't help you, and sometimes it feels like it actively wants you to suffer. And honestly, I kinda respect it for that. But one thing is certain, I'm never doing this again. Yo! So many years later, man. So many years later. And this game still holds up. It's incredible. It is incredible.